Hi, welcome back to another episode of The Mindful Professional. Today, we're diving into a profession that touches some of the most sensitive and life changing moments for people, the practice of law. I'm Dr. Pinky Khatri, an entrepreneur, an audiologist, and a mindfulness advocate. So, when most people think about lawyers, they imagine high stress, endless paperwork, and adversarial battles. But what if law could be practiced differently, rooted in mindfulness, compassion, and service? My guest today, Sunila Bali, the founder of Seva Law here in Sterling, Virginia. Her firm takes its name from the Sanskrit word seva, which means selfless sacrifice. And that's exactly what she brings to her work, whether it is family law, immigration, or helping businesses through challenges with commitment to cultural understanding and mindful advocacy. So, in our conversation today, we'll explore Sunila's journey to founding Seva Law, how she brings mindfulness in some of the most stressful areas in legal practice, and what it truly means to lead with service in a demanding profession. So, if you've ever wondered how values and mindfulness can thrive even in high stakes world of law, you're in for an inspiring conversation. Stay tuned. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me.
Yeah,
It's nice to have you here, and I've heard so much about you from Nupur, so I was like, okay, it'll be a good opportunity for me.
she's a kind person. I don't know what she said, and I don't know if I'm deserving of all that, but happy to be here. Nice to meet you, really.
Thank you. Thank you. So I wanted to kind of start a little bit from, your personal journey. What inspired you to be in the law field?
Long story. So let me see how short I can make it.
Okay.
I came to the US in my late 20s after I got married,
Okay.
and I had two master's degrees at that point, and I was already working in India when I came. But coming here was such a reset in that the realization that everything that I had worked for, everything that I had studied was basically useless here because I couldn't put my education to use. I could not get a job because I came in as a dependent.
Right.
And like I had, my background was in English literature and journalism.
Oh, wow.
And I could do none of those here, just because this country is so tech based,
Yeah.
and I did not look like these people. I did not speak like these people to get any place in the journalism field. So
Right.
that was a closed door. I love technology. I just cannot be behind when the technology is great. I'm a people's person, so I like problem solving. I like being with people. I cannot sit on a machine the entire day, and it just doesn't cut it for me.
Yeah.
So I started exploring careers and seeing what could I do given my background and the interest that I have. So the very natural answer from many people was like, do an MBA, get into HR, because that's what you're going to do. And
Yeah.
I had dabbled with that idea back in India as well, but
Yeah.
I, again, and I have my own idiosyncrasies and my own judgment about things as well. So I don't see myself as a seller. I don't see myself as a marketing person. So that never really crossed my horizon, right? I am a storyteller. That's what I like to do, and I like to solve problems. Well, anyway, so my mother introduced me to one of our old acquaintances who is a professor, and his daughter was doing law. And then he was like, "Yeah, let's come explore ideas. Let's see how what makes sense." And then this one thing led to the other, and he was like, yeah, just do law. It is simple. It's a simple test. Just go through it, you'll be fine, and then you can decide. It's not like India, because really in India I had a very different opinion of the legal field, and it is so
Right.
different that I now realize. But that was another thing that I never thought of. But I like that person that I spoke to. That girl was very bright, and I liked what she was saying and how she was saying and everything. So I said, okay, whatever, I'll take the test. I mean, To this day, I want to go back and kill him when he said it is simple, because none of this is simple.
I was gonna say I've never heard that kind of a description for a
But
line
thanks
that's
to
like,
him, he said it was simple, so I did it. Because if it were presented to me the way it is, there was no way I would have even thought that because
yeah,
I was done studying, really. I mean, after all that. Anyway, so I just think it came to me. It just happened to me. It
mm,
wasn't something I was seeking. I was seeking something. I did not know it was going to be this, but it just appeared. And
yeah,
I just walked into it, not even knowing what it is,
mm,
and and it happened. I did crack the test or whatever that ALSAT, and got a decent,
course.
admission profile, couple of colleges, and then the rest is history.
Wow. And what inspired you to start your own law firm?
Oh my God. I've always been a very, what's the right way to put it? I've always wanted to have something of my own.
Sure.
Uh, I work great with the teams. But I'm also very, it's not going to sound good, a control freak of a sort.
Oh,
So I
you have
am
some
am
independence.
very particular about something that goes out a certain way,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to something so meaningful in life, where life decisions are based on what we are sending or what we are responding to. It becomes very critical that we pay a lot of attention to the detail and we really do our best.
Yeah.
And I wanted a more holistic approach rather than being a small cookie cutter in a long, big playfield or organization. So
Makes
what
sense.
happens and that's why I felt there was a lot of difference in how law or even medicine is practiced in our countries
Yeah.
compared to here. You go to one doctor, he'll do everything for you, and then he'll refer to someone when they can't deal with, or
Yeah.
you need extra attention. Similarly, there's one lawyer you go to, and they basically should be able to take care of something that addresses a common person on a day-to-day basis. Here, this didn't make sense to me initially. Oh, what kind of a lawyer are you? Well, I'm a lawyer, right? Because the law
Yeah.
school does not prepare you for a certain kind of a field.
Sure.
You
Makes
all
sense.
graduate as lawyers, and then you decide what you want to do, which basically means you prepare to handle almost everything that the school could teach you. And it's one of those different kind of professional institutions that trains you to really start out as a professional the day one that you graduate. That's how rigorous the training is.
Wow.
So, long story short, again, I obviously started with a boutique law firm. Then I worked with IT consulting companies. I worked with the CPA. I worked with another law firm that was a multi-practice area. So through all of these experiences in the last 14 years, I had enough exposure to different things, but I still felt that, there are very few places that are offering a holistic approach to law.
Makes sense.
uh, you'll have a lawyer that, okay, I'm an immigration lawyer, or I'm a family law lawyer, or I'm a business lawyer, or I am a estate planning attorney. I wanted to be somebody that could talk to you even if
Yeah.
you came for a certain thing, but
Yeah.
you could have issues in other areas. Not just that, especially if we are dealing with the immigrant community, they don't come to you for one thing, even if they think they're coming to you for one thing. And why I say that is, if it's a family matter issue, it is going to implicate their immigration status. It is
Right.
also probably going to implicate how they do when it comes to dividing their assets and how that implicates their financial, planning. So everything is so intertwined. I mean, God forbid if you have a speeding ticket, no one thinks of that, but these days, you'll be surprised to know how far reaching the implications are if you're an immigrant, if you get a DWI or DUI,
Right.
that immediately builds a criminal record for you,
Wow.
that immediately puts your immigration status in jeopardy, and that is going to affect your family history as well.
Right.
That
Right.
is also going to implicate your employment history or your background searches and things like that. So
Right.
everything is so closely intertwined,
Yeah.
right? and I
And
just
it's almost
wanted.
like your one-stop shop for all of
Yeah,
your
at
needs.
least the grassroots level kind of issues. And we're not talking about like a multi-million-dollar lawsuit where you need to have a team of extra expertise or extra, that really, really niche areas, a financial auditor or whatever, right?
Mm.
I mean,
Right.
this is something that implicates you and me. Somebody on
Mm.
the road had a hit and run. How? Where did they go? So I wanted to make law accessible to people, uh,
Yeah.
because demystify the thing about, because people think, oh, lawyers are, all that. And I just want to say, I mean, lawyers are normal people. We are normal people who've dealt with these problems. And we
Mm.
also have the training legally to how to kind of make it workable for you and solve the problems. So I just wanted to be that open door place where people can come in and, kind of know that 5 out of 8 things maybe will be addressed here, if not all.
Sure, sure.
So that's
It
and
makes sense. Yeah. I own my practice too. So my thoughts are like yours where I'm not necessarily like control freak, but I want to do things in my own way. And I want to
Mhm.
make sure that, you know, patients get the standard of care that I want to do rather than something that somebody dictates and that's the kind of care that they're going to receive. So
Mhm.
in many ways, I'm able to relate to what you're saying, even in terms of like the services we provide. A lot of
Mhm.
times when people think of audiology, they're like, oh, it's just a hearing aid place where you go buy hearing aids. I'm
Yeah,
like, it's so much more. We deal with
exactly.
your hearing holistically, not
Mhm.
just dealing with a piece
Yeah,
of
it's not
machine.
just a
So,
piece of the ear, right?
right, right. Yeah, very, very interesting. So, why did you choose the name Seva?
I'm a Punjabi. I'm not a Sikh Punjabi, but Seva has been a huge part of my culture, my bringing up. I
Yeah,
have been a volunteer all my life.
right.
I absolutely love the idea of voluntary work, especially in this country. It's
Mm-hmm.
not that big, but obviously, where I come from, I've grown up with this term seva in my head right from a very little age. I mean, going to gurdwaras and service, and just see how selflessly people give. I wanted to imbibe that in what we are able to offer. I mean, as selfless as it sounds, it's very selfish for me because the best gratification I think I get is from the happiness that people get when I'm able to do something, but that gives me such a kick that nothing compares to it.
Right.
So and then obviously a large part of my work and service is pro bono as well. I
Okay.
tie up with a lot of nonprofits. I'm on board with two major
Okay.
nonprofits in the area, and I devote a lot of my time to them. But I also, again, this was also another way for me to connect with the community and tell them that I'm one of you.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope the name resonates and it kind of, again, demystifies that the fear or whatever it is that people associated, with the lawyers or law firms thinking they're inaccessible. So I did not want that big name on a high door. I wanted to be on the doorstep offering
Yeah.
services. And that is all of the multiple reasons that I thought of that.
Yeah. And what challenges did you face starting your own practice? And how did you stay grounded through that?
Um, it's an interesting question because I don't even look at those things as challenges. And I'm not sounding like a brag here. Honestly, I think the universe has been really kind to me, given the experience and the training that I had leading up to this step. I never thought I was just starting out as a new law firm. I had contacts already. I had people who were so supportive, and it did not take me time to kind of take off as a
Right.
solo. And I just basically started this March when we are around 6 months old, but as a law firm, but I mean, obviously an older attorney. Um, the so it's been a fun ride. I mean, so to say, even the business building part of it has been a fun ride. The
Yeah.
challenge has been really to stop working. Because I really see myself getting sucked into it so hard that I'm
Yeah.
spending 18, 20 hours a day sometimes. Uh,
Right. So how
Again,
do you balance between like personal life, professional life, and stay grounded and stay present in both situations?
I don't know if I am grounded or present as much as I try to be. And this goes back to what I said earlier about me being a control freak, in a good sense, in the sense that, this is more about, obviously, this is about the service that I give and, how people view us, but it's also about doing the work in a meaningful way.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, I get a lot of satisfaction from the work I do. I love my work. I absolutely do this.
No, and I've heard this where some people say, like, the work that you do itself is meditation. You're so engrossed
Exactly.
that it becomes your life purpose, that it is like a meditation practice in itself to stay
Indeed.
connected and
I
keep
mean,
working.
so working with people who are in very difficult situations,
Hmm.
extremely difficult situations sometimes, and just being able to even speak to them or get them to speak to me
Yeah.
is keeps me grounded like nothing else. Like every day it's like so much gratitude for number one, where I am, and number two, being in a place where I can help. And
Right.
just to kind of, lend a hand to somebody to just come out of where they are. It's walking the path with people every single day. I mean, and we are talking of victims of abuse and really dire situations. We are talking of people who really have nowhere to go, people who are stuck in like a very unforgiving criminal law system for no fault of theirs. So, they see no hope, they don't know where to go. So when you go to meet them in that jail, when you go meet someone in a detention center, where you're bringing somebody out of a shelter, you really don't need that much of a reality check in life to keep you grounded, because that's an everyday calling that this could be you, this could be any one of us,
Right.
sometimes for no reason. But then, when they're out and when they meet you and then they smile and they say thank you, nothing else in the world compares to that. So it's, investment into this of my life itself, all my time. So I mean, I my body tells me I'm tired. My mind tells me I need to go on, you know.
Yeah.
So because I get to it and this is where I feel like I'm home. Like this is what I should be doing, and that's what keeps me going. I
Yeah.
I answered your question, Liz.
Yeah, you know, I almost like when I'm at the office, I always call this my happy place. So I can relate to what you're saying. So very interesting. All right. So, when you're practicing law, especially like around family, immigration, it could be deeply emotional. How do you have that balance with compassion and strong advocacy at the same time?
Comes with time. I was not like that to start out. I'm a very emotional personal at a personal level. I'm a lost case. Really, I cry so easily. I get affected so easily. I believe everything that I see. And obviously, just going through situations with the clients. I mean, my heart is beating the hardest every single day that I was in the court yesterday for a really last minute protective hearing that I was put on. I'm like, what am I even doing? I mean, aside from the preparation, but just again, going with someone that you feel is innocent, like completely, and it's been stuck there. It's so difficult, right? But I think it comes with time. You learn, with time to kind of overcome that, and then immediately I have to tell myself, Sunila, you are here to help them. Do your best. Like just do your best, and knowing fully well that there are times I can't do what I wish I could, knowing fully well that no matter how hard I fight, I will not be able to get them the solution that they deserve, just because the system is sometimes jinxed. Sometimes things are just stacked against you, the odds are so against you, you can. So but with time you learn, you get that little professional distance also. But really, what helps is kind of repeatedly telling myself, this is not your number one job, is to be the professional that can represent them, not the person who's just walking by them to give them a shoulder. So
Yeah.
sometimes I do that also by telling myself I will not speak too much,
Yeah.
because that for me, sometimes. I might say something to a client which they want to hear, and I know that. But what if I'm not able to fulfill that? So staying quiet sometimes really, really helps me.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
I'm so full of something, I just breathe and just close my eyes every couple of minutes and kind of just keep going through it, one piece at a
yeah.
time, person and one case at a time.
So what, you're focusing on like listening in to your clients, their needs and all of that. So what role does mindful listening play when clients are overwhelmed or very emotional?
I think that's the singular most important thing that helps to
Mhm.
be able to listen first.
Yeah,
We all, I shouldn't say all, most of us are quick to jump to me too. You hear something and you want to say, hey, by the way, my car broke down. Oh, mine too.
yeah,
So I literally had to train myself to shut up and listen because this is not about me.
right.
Right. And I pause, where I need to. And I just let my intakes are 80% listening and 20% talking. And I see if the talking till the end, because obviously clients have 30 minutes to tell me all about their life of 40, 50, 60, 70 years, and however long that is, right? I can't get it all in 30 minutes,
Yeah,
even if I try. But in that 30 minutes, if I'm the one that's talking for 20, there's no way I'm getting that.
makes
So,
sense.
so basically just listen. And that's a big, big, big part of, and my job is to help them, not to tell them about me. It's not about me at all.
Right.
They've come to me because they think I can help. And to be able to help, I need to understand where they're coming from.
Yeah.
So that's like the biggest tool in my box.
All right. And how do you feel that mindfulness makes you a good negotiator or a problem solver?
It's all about being in the present, right? It's
Right.
it's all about all that we have on the table is right what is on the table, not in my mind.
Yeah.
So I could have 10 stories or I could have 10 hypotheticals that I could probably, I'm a person who revisits a conversation a million times.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to cut that down because I know that's never going to happen. I'm 48 now. It's not happened in 48 years. It's not going to happen now. So I need to stop that. The only
Right.
conversation I can have with you is right now. I can't
Right.
go back after this call and say, I wish I had said that. And
Yeah.
it's 2 days thinking just that. It's
Yeah.
not
And
gonna
yeah, and it's so important, right? To like, they are your clients are so emotional
happen.
and you're trying to do something for them, but at the same time, you're trying to, what we call in mindfulness, your monkey brain, where
Mhm.
it is associating with something they said and they're like, oh, this happened to me too, like you were saying.
Yeah.
And to stop all of that self-talk or relating monkey talk and just be in the present is one of the hardest things.
One of the hardest things, yes.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm learning that, like you're saying, it's just you just keep trying to do your best to stay in the room, to stay present, and be there for your clients. To and that way, that I think that's the most valuable thing that you can give them is to just be present and listen to what they're trying to tell you.
Exactly. Because if I don't listen to them, I am missing an important piece of their story that's
Right.
not going to be communicated where it needs to be.
Yeah.
So then what good is my representation, or how can it be effective when I didn't even say, or when I didn't even listen what I could say?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, in another thing that's very common in our profession, and I'm sure yours too, is you hear something and you're like, oh, it happened in that case also, maybe that. So you start thinking about that already while I'm still talking to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's also where I have to pull the shutter down that no, this is a different person,
Yeah.
a
It's
different story.
better to
Maybe
do
they'll think that,
assumptions. Yeah.
yeah, so not just me, but also my cases and my experience and my that and my, which I appreciate when it comes to me at the right time when I'm doing my analysis. And if I had a success with something similar in the past, then yes, I can use that argument. But
Right.
just at the time when I'm talking to you, because that is your time.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. So your firm emphasizes cultural awareness. Why is it important in today's legal landscape?
This is one of the biggest areas that has been overlooked. You
Hmm.
know, every client, every person is a product of their culture. A
Right.
lot of what I think, what I am, what I do has been shaped up by what where I was brought up
Right.
or how I'm informed subtly, at a psychological level, at not a very formal educative level, right?
Mm.
So a client walks into my office, and I know if they're from a certain part of the world, um, I will probably have a better understanding if they're from my nook of the woods because I know how things work there, right?
Right.
But compared to that, if somebody comes to me from a part of the world I've never been to,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'll be able to relate to them immediately at a factual or emotional level. At a legal level, yes, the things are all the same because the law is the same as it applies to you.
Right.
How do you apply to the law? What are you bringing here that I can pick up then to strengthen your position wherever you are?
Mm.
How has that interference of whatever you were brought up with brought you to this situation? Is there something I could use in that to leverage and strengthen your position as to you're not a bad person? This happened because of this, or
Yeah.
this happened, like, for example, right? A lot of Indians, let's just say we're all from there, come here during the H-1B program or whatever, right? A
Mm-hmm.
lot of them, it's when we come in as employees, new employees, it's a very sir, ma'am kind of culture in India. That's not the
Yeah.
truth here, right? So
Right.
they fall very easy victims to employment abuse. They fall very easy victim to this domineering kind of culture, which actually is labor abuse, right? But if I did not come from there, I wouldn't see how, because to an American, it's like an absolute nonsense. Like, you can't tell your subordinate, go bring me a glass of water,
Yeah.
or go make me a cup of tea, right?
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
things are so culturally different. Like, there is no context here.
Right.
So that when somebody comes and tells me, how was your work? If I'll ask them, yeah, good. How's your boss? Yeah, good. I mean, if they're females or even males for that matter, yeah, I mean, we don't look at touching as offensive touching at all in our culture. I mean, this is just so commonplace. And even if it's happening, we don't want to be the one to blow the whistle because we are so afraid of repercussions. But then
Mhm.
we don't know what the law affords in terms of remedies if something like that were to happen to you. Similarly,
Right.
it's in both the sides, you know.
Yeah.
First of
Yeah.
all, we don't know what our protections are. Second of all, we just take things because that's how it's done there.
Yeah.
So that I think is such an important piece of every story. Otherwise, it's all law is black and white. Life is not.
True.
So how do you put the context together to then kind of fight for someone that you're representing? And that context is so much of culture that you cannot wean it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Very interesting. So yeah. Yeah. Um. hmm. So what does servant leadership look like in your law firm?
Servant leadership, I don't think I follow your question. Explain, please.
So, your the name itself with Seva, you're serving your clients, you're serving the community. How do you take that and also apply it to your team?
So if you're asking, like, how do we
How,
basically ingrain the principle of service in what we're doing?
yeah,
Good question. I don't think I've practiced this formally. It just is just who we are. It's just
yeah,
right now it's me and my partner, and we use contract attorneys all the time. But in all of the people that have come to us, be associated with us as volunteers, have come to be associated with us saying, how can I help? They come in as volunteers. I mean, so already they're coming to us prepared to serve. Like,
true.
it's not something we had to tell them that, hey, can you come and help me? They all just say, how can we help? So,
Yeah.
I mean, like I said earlier, we've been very fortunate to be placed where we are. Like, for example, we did a couple of workshops, but this last one we did in Rajasthani Temple for wills and trusts for senior people, complimentary, obviously. But like, you will not believe, I got like 8 or 9 emails from people saying, can I come help set up? Do you need help with the projector? Do you need this? Do you need that? Can I bring folders? Just on their own.
Very nice.
just on its own. I mean, things just happen. I wonder sometimes, like, who are these people and how are they coming? And I've never met many of them. They'll come and say, "Oh, we saw you there. We would love to be engaged. How can we help?" Like so many, at least two or three people that says, "We have a legal background from India. We've not practiced here, but we would love to volunteer if you have something."
Wonderful.
So I don't know what it is. I don't have an answer to your question, and it actually makes me think, how is this happening? I have no idea.
Yeah. I don't know if you've heard about, how your internal energy attracts, what you feel internally is what you
Mhm.
attract also. And if
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
internally in that service mode all the time,
yeah.
then by default, you're also attracting people who are
People
ready to
like
serve around you.
right. I mean, I've actually had to fight the opposite. I've had to fight the opposite in the sense that sometimes I'm doing something and I finish it and I'm like, okay, so they'll ask me like, what's the fee? And I'm like, we didn't have an agreement and there is no fee. And we just did it. And it's like, second, third time, fourth time around, those people come back and like, this time we have to pay you. And I'm like, so that's how it is. And it's not by design either. I mean, I'm surprised, Pinky, that things have come to be like this. 20 years ago, this was not me.
Yeah,
But just going through life and just kind of, things and experiences, it just comes, it's come to a point where this gives me so much happiness.
very
That,
nice.
you know,
Yeah.
making
So,
things accessible, being there for people, really.
yeah, yeah.
Obviously, I have a household to run and I'm the primary earner and all of that.
I was going to ask you that
Yeah.
between all the pro bono stuff you're doing and, your volunteering, how do you make sure that you're mindful about having financial sustainability and you're supporting your family?
Yeah, I don't know. I am lucky that I've not had to think about it. Um, you know, things are well by God's grace, and money is really not number one, not even number three thing on the list right now. In fact, I and my spouse may sit down sometimes, and I ask her this because I can't answer this for myself, and I'm like, why do you think we're doing this? Like, and how much of it do I want to do? Because it does propagate into like a snowball, right? Things
Mm.
escalate very quickly, they become bigger very quickly, and I can't be there physically every time for everything, right? And so
Yeah.
end of the day, I'm like, yes, I do cases where I'm charging, and then money comes in, and then there's the other thing that I feel here about this whole plastic money and the banking system. Nothing really comes to your hand. So it's not like in India that you literally, you're counting the money. No. You see a number on the account and yeah, then that's it. And gives you momentary like a thought, okay, whatever it is, it passes.
Yeah.
It every day, today, another day, it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a difference if there's an extra zero there or there's a lesser zero there. It's a number and my needs are luckily met. So I don't, I'm not luckily in a position where I really have to fight to put food on the table. I know that's taken care of. I
Right.
know I don't have any outstanding big things where I really need to be fighting. Maybe it
Yeah.
would be different if things were like that and I would be thinking more about money. But again, by God's grace, I'm in a place where I don't have to. So and then actively I can do this right now.
Very
And
nice.
of course, and I'm not doing this for free because like I said, I'm getting a lot of satisfaction, a lot of happiness out of it. It's actually also a de-stressor for me. So even
Yeah.
after a 20-hour day, the 4 hours of sleep, the next morning I'm fresh and I'm looking forward to it.
Very nice.
Money couldn't buy me that. I think I
Yeah.
figured that out. That yes, I could be making a lot more if I just did like, work for billing,
Yeah.
but it would be so stressful too.
True.
And I don't want that stress. I don't know if Nupu told you this, but I also have a band.
Okay.
Like we started about 10 years ago. I sing. So
Very nice.
that is a very balancing factor for me, a big de-stressor, but
Yeah.
also just a way to connect to people, so much more, right? So it's become more and more about just being out there doing things for obviously myself and people that I'm connected with, like with
Yeah.
Noor, right? I mean, I did not know her. from Adam. We got connected about 2 years ago, and I got so drawn to her case, and then whatever it was, legally speaking, I offered it to her, not expecting anything. But look, I'm talking to you today because of her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
talking to five different people today because of her. And none of this was designed. It was not like, oh, I'm going to speak to somebody through this channel, let me connect, and it'll lead me to that. So, that is one way of approaching. But then these things are naturally just burgeoning out of nowhere,
Right.
right?
Right.
So, what value, what money tag do you put on this?
True. Yeah. So tell me, how else are you involved in the community? You mentioned about um the event that you did at Rajdhani with the
Mhm.
seniors. What else are you doing?
A lot of such initiatives. I'm very active with my local Gurdwara in Sterling. We do
Okay.
workshops there. You know,
Okay.
we did Rajdhani Temple community wise. Otherwise, I'm like I said, I am a board member with an organization called Women Empowerment Foundation.
Okay.
We support victims of abuse mostly because those are the kind of people that come there.
Yeah.
And just helping them resettle, possibly helping them with whatever legal needs they might have, immigration, domestic violence, family law. And we hold career workshops with them as well, just training people, making aware of career opportunities, not just in the legal field, but other places as well. Then I'm also on board with an organization called Karuna Charities. It's
Okay.
about 30 years old, and they do a lot of work. Many of our clients are South Asians, of course, but they're not limited to just victims of abuse. They help anybody in need, really. Uh,
Okay.
so aside from that, I mean, whatever really comes, I'm partnering with a couple of people in the financial sector who want me to do workshops and webinars on estate planning from an educational point of view, telling people why it is important to plan, have a will or have a trust or estate, what does it mean. There's another organization called Wills on Wheels. This
Okay.
is an American organization by Fairfax County Bar Association,
Okay.
where we basically go to these senior centers or senior residential units, and we go make their wills and power of attorneys, etc., for free. So some of the things.
Very nice.
Mhm.
Very interesting. Do you have any advice for other professionals who want to integrate mindfulness into demanding careers like yours?
And I think really just staying in the moment helps.
Yeah.
The biggest distraction is the mind itself, I think, because it doesn't let you be where you
Yeah.
are right now.
Mm.
So it's it's I'll just probably finish this with a small story that I just have a million stories.
Sure.
My children were on a vacation with their dad this past 2 weeks ago, and they were in Kenya, and I was very excited for the trip. I didn't go, but they were like, I said, oh, there's safaris, there's this and that. These are American teenagers. They hate anything that doesn't have Wi-Fi.
Mhm.
They don't want to be in animals where they could be hanging out with their friends over
Right.
pizza, right?
Right.
For them, it was like, what the hell? Where did you send us? And so, and I was listening to myself as I said it to them. It was a long time ago that I heard that. I don't know where, Doordarshan, probably India. It's like, the only place that you can be right now is where you are.
Right.
The only person that you can help right now is the one next to you. The only person that you can talk to right now is the one next to you. No matter where your mind is, nothing is going to change in your present until you are where you are.
Yeah.
So that's really all I would say, that, this is it. Just being where you are right now is the only place you can make a difference at. And so I try
Yeah.
to remind myself every single day when I'm dealing with stuff, because, not just from my personal life, but from all of the work that I do, I bring so much of emotional baggage, mental stress with me, with every little case that I'm dealing with becomes a part of my being,
Yeah.
right? And then that weighs me constantly until I tell myself, you are sitting on my table, not on my head right now. Let me deal with this because this is all I can do.
Yeah.
That's how I go, and I think that's what I would like to share.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what
That's
really.
the you're yeah. Very interesting, right? Yeah, you talk to so many people, their emotional baggage, all their stories, and they just are pouring their heart to you, trying to see how you can help them solve it. And then you get to carry it, and you have to be mindful about saying that's their story and not yours to get involved in. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, lots of good work. Wow. Do you have any books or teachers or practices that influenced you in your personal and professional journey?
Oh yeah, a bunch of them. Um, I have grown up asking so many questions to life,
Yeah.
asking why this, why now,
Yeah.
right? And it doesn't add up. Personal laws, all of that. In one book that really put my head on my shoulders was Many Lives, Many Masters by Dr. Brian Weiss.
Okay.
And it's out of the scope of our conversation here, but he talks about how this is not it. This life is not it. There was a before and there is an after. And it's, if you believe in that concept, first of all, it's a kind of a metaphysical concept,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it answered so many things for me. It answers things that don't have, it answers questions that don't have answers. Let's put it that way. Because
Yeah.
so many times, if we think, I never did anything wrong, so why is this happening to me? But why is so much hardship on one person and other people who are apparently like, just not being good people are still living good lives? Like, why that? And with my clients, I see like, I know this is a good person. Why are they having to go through so much? And then we have these politicians and these leaders who are like outright scamming everyone and still okay. So, there has to be some sense to this. So
Right.
that helped me is think, you know what,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
how it is.
Yeah.
But also the
Go
other
ahead.
book, like don't don't worry about the small stuff. I forget the exact name, but everything is small, basically. So not to take everything so seriously every day, something that's going to pass, and in the larger scheme, it means nothing. So,
Yeah, yeah. Very interesting. Part of the Mindful Professional channel, I also have video series where I'm kind of bringing in the teachings from Bhagavad Gita to my patients with hearing problems. And I just did something recently where we're talking about a verse where Krishna is saying that, you're more than the body, you're more than your
right.
limitations, you are the soul within. And
Yeah.
like you said, there's been a journey that you've come through, and there's still a journey after. And this is just a
Absolutely.
small piece of that puzzle.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
very
That
interesting.
makes so much sense to me.
Yeah,
Not just because I come from a culture of Bhagavad Gita, but in general too.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, well, that's all the questions I had. It's very interesting. I'm trying to connect with local professionals. I personally got into the mindfulness space like a couple years ago, where we
Mm.
were coming out of COVID. We had a lot of staff with anxiety. I had a lot of patients with anxiety. And personally, I have three young kids. At that point, there were three kids under five. and and between being a mom and an audiologist and a boss and having a husband who just found out he needs a kidney transplant, I was like, I need something to keep me going. Otherwise, I'm not going to last another year. Forget a year, another month. And
Yeah.
I finally was like, okay, let me go back and revisit. What's the best way out? And between Bhagavad Gita and the mindfulness practices that have kind of helped me turn the page and avoid burnout or deal with my burnout and say, okay, here I am. It's okay. Let's keep moving. Let's keep helping people and making a difference. So I'm very excited to connect with somebody like you that, we have similar roots and similar beliefs, and you're serving in your own way in a place completely away from home, different community, different rules, different structure, and you're
Mhm.
still trying to follow their rules and still help the people to kind of find their way and find justice. So it's commendable with the things that you do.
Thank you, Pinky. And I mean, I'm, equally impressed to hear your struggles and battles and how you've overcome and then turned it into something so beautiful.
Yeah.
Reaching out and, literally helping people. Because even between this conversation, I'm listening to what you're saying, I'm listening to myself, what I'm saying. And it actually makes me think so much about a couple of things that we talked about. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's always nice to just slow down. And that's what I'm trying to tell myself, my kids, and my staff that it's okay to slow down. Sometimes we do so much more when we slow down than when we're in that just go, 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 busy, busy, busy mode. We're so
Mhm.
much more productive when we slow down, listen to our hearts, and do what we need to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time. It was very nice talking to you.
Likewise, Pinky. Thanks so much again.
All right, that was Sunila Bali from Seva Law sharing her wisdom on how mindfulness and service can transform the way we practice law, lead our teams, and show up for our communities. I love how Sunila reminded us that being a mindful professional is not about stepping away from challenges, but it's about meeting them with clarity, compassion, and integrity. If you'd like to learn more about Sunila and her work, you can visit her at sevalawfirm.com or connect with Seva Law on social media. And as always, thank you for listening to The Mindful Professional. If you found today's episode valuable, please share it with your colleagues or leave us a review. It helps us spread the message of mindful leadership and professional well being. Until next time, stay present, stay mindful, and keep leading with your heart. Thank you. Hare Krishna.